That's never a good sign, is it, when you're making noise sitting down at what, 23? No, I'm sore from yesterday. Yesterday was posterior, so glutes, hams, back, biceps, big session on a Saturday. A well-needed rest day today. Today's Sunday, the 17th of October. It's like 5:30. We're just doing meals for tomorrow, usual morning routine. And what I thought I'd do today was back in the hot seat, back on the old talky one today, talk you through the last 12, 13, 14 weeks of training, give you an outline of that, and I thought it'd be a good time to give you an update because we're going into a deload next week, so a deload week next week, and then moving on to another push for a good amount of weeks. So let's start with the last 12, 13, I think it's 13, 14 weeks of training. Really good in terms of progression over in the gym training, and progression in physique, condition wise, body composition wise, the amount of tissue we've been able to put on the last 14 weeks. You know, that was the main goal Luke set was to put on as much tissue as we could, but staying in pretty good condition, and holding, not going too fluffy. You know, we still, throughout this whole phase, we've kept abs in. So, you know, abs have been visible for the whole of this phase, which is what we wanted to do. We didn't want to push too hard over and put on unnecessary body fat, which, you know, isn't going to give us any benefits really. So we've been able to, you know, put on some good size. Looking at the comparisons, which I haven't actually gone through, but I know we both know, we talked about it the other day, that we have been able to put on a good amount of tissue, and we're in a very good place right now where we can push again really. Food has been pushed fairly high, but again, nothing crazy. We've pushed food higher before in the past, so that's something that can be pushed more. I think my body can take it now. It's in a condition wise in a good place where it can take food on and not put on that body fat that we did previously. So that's good. We can push food up now, again after this deload. But staying in this phase, I've loved it. Training wise, movements have stayed the same throughout this whole phase, maybe with a few different changes, just because of max now on load, or like the cuffed pec fly we swapped out near the end because I was just getting stuck in the movement. The fly where you put the cuffs on your biceps and using fully chest to contract, that we took out and just put in a Nautilus pec fly machine, which is just a pin loaded, much more easy to get in and out of. Does pretty much the same as what your cuffed fly would do. So we've only tweaked things like that. Movements on the whole have stayed the same. We just followed the progressive overload approach, and I would just sit down every week and map out what I would do for the following week. So mapping out all my numbers, making sure I know what I'm going to hit exactly when I walk into that gym, and that's been really good. You know, I haven't really progressed massively each week. It's always been small increments, either with load, reps, changing up the tempo, making sure execution is on point. I think that's one thing in this phase that I've focused on more, definitely, is tempo and execution and performing that set as good as I can, making it look as good as I can. And not really just going for load from A to B, which I have done in the past, and I know now through training this way for quite a while that just moving weight from A to B isn't, it's I think there comes a place where yes, that moving weight from A to B is something that you can get away with in your younger years when you're doing the likes of bench, squat and deadlift and just putting some load on your back or pulling some weight off the floor is potentially good for you and can bring you some benefits. But now where we're into training and we're looking at the finer details and looking into form and execution, moving away from A to B is just not on the agenda right now. So I focus a lot more on execution and sometimes spending 2 to 3 weeks on a certain weight, but ticking off progression and from execution and tempo. Tempo has been a big thing that we've looked at this phase, bringing in a lot of 3-4 second negatives and then holding that weight for 2 to 3 seconds in the hole and then exploding up. We've done that on a lot of movements, especially legs, like a hack squat or a leg press. We've added them in, added a lot of banded work as well, because as strength goes up, you start to max out some machines. You've got to then implement some bands, and it's a great way of causing more tension, putting more tension on the muscle. So those are just a few of the things that we focused on during this phase. Going into the next phase and just training onwards, it's going to pretty much stay the same. Your training doesn't have to change at all. You can do the same plan for years if you wanted to, as long as you got the fundamentals in there and the movements that are gonna provide you with as much tension as possible, and you're hitting the muscle from different areas and different angles. You can keep the same session in for an extended period of time. So I'll finish this part and then go to Deload, and then what the training's going to be like in the next few weeks. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed progressing. I've enjoyed seeing numbers go up. The food's gone up as well. The food's kind of gone up at like every 2 weeks. It hasn't really, but on average, probably every 2 to 3 weeks, Luke's increased food. Not by much, just by small increments again. Just seeing how the body reacts to it, and seeing how far and hard we can push without starting to look fluffy. Because we want some sort of body fat there, because obviously we're lifting some heavier loads and we need to keep the joints and tendons and muscles safe, and you got to have some sort of body fat there to cushion the loads that we do every day, because it's wear and tear on the body at the end of the day. We're going in 5 times a week and putting the body under some serious stress, so you need some sort of barrier there just to help with that. So that's kind of the first 12 to 13, 14 weeks of training done. Now moving into a deload, which is starting tomorrow, well today pretty much. What we did, I think last deload was in July. I went in, this was last time, I went in probably 4 times in the week, and basically just did back off sets. In the training phase now, we have top sets and back off sets. Top set is where you do a 6 to 8 heavy loading set. Back off set is where you drop it down to 8 to 12 or 12 to 15 or even up to 30s, 40s, 50 reps in some cases. So I just went in and did back off sets, obviously decreasing the load, putting less stress on the muscles, and being able to recover from that. But I think now that we're in a position where back off sets are still fairly heavy, It's not much of a jump down from a top set. The body's not going to recover if I go in and do those back offsets, because they're still heavy, they're still very much taxing on the body, and we need time to let the tendons, ligaments recover, and a week off that training style and that pressure we put on our body is going to benefit us in the long term, and it's going to benefit us in the next weeks to come when we're pushing more and trying to push size more and food more and training more. A week off is going to do us a lot of good. So the plan is, with this Deload week, is take Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, okay, and Sunday today. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. Go in Thursday, Friday and hit maybe like a legs and a push session or a push and a pull session. Very, very light, pretty much just getting a pump. And mainly for me, it's just keeping my mental state strong. I'm interested to see what my mood is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because I won't be training, but I know it's gonna do good. I know my body needs it. I know I'm pretty bad. I think for us who train and for us who love to see progression and love to see progress within our physiques and training, we like to keep going. We don't really like to stop. We like to just keep going. Why would we take a rest? But I think the rest is as important as training. You can't have a good training session, you can't progress if you're not recovered. And if you're not fully recovered, there's not really much point in you going in and beating your body up again and again and again. So I think taking this week off, is going to do a load of good. What I'm going to be doing on my days off the gym is I'll probably go out in the morning at the same time and do steps. I'll probably go out and do about half an hour, 45 minutes worth of steps in the morning at the same time that I would train, just to keep the routine going, because I'm a massive advocate of routine and keeping it the same every day. So I'll probably do that, to be honest. I like going out in the morning anyway when it's pitch black like it is right now. Feels like the middle of the night, but I kind of like it, especially now when it's getting cold. I prefer it in the winter than the summer. So that's the plan with the deload. Nutrition wise, we're going to stay on rest day calories for the whole week. Reason being, we're not training, so we're not burning those extra calories. So yeah, that's training, nutrition, recovery. Main thing for this deload is just recovery and making sure that we're fully recovered when we go back to training the following week. So a little talk now on training going into this next pusher phase, which I think we're going to run up till Christmas. I'm not too sure. Luke hasn't said. But I think he mentioned something about running it up to Christmas, and to be honest, we're just going to see what happens. I think if we need to push more, we need to push more. There's not really a date on it. I don't think. I know that I think we're going to push hard now. We're going to try and put on as much size as we can within this period, within this next period, and push food hard, and training is going to stay the same. I've seen the training plan, it's pretty much the same. A few different movements in there, just different variations, just to switch things up a bit. And like for the hack squat, for example, I've pretty much maxed that out in terms of, not maxed the whole machine out, because you can obviously fit like 7 plates aside on it, but we got up to just below 5 plates aside, which I was happy with. But I mentioned on one of my posts that I wouldn't go above that, just because of the tendons, putting that body under that much load. The tendons aren't really necessarily getting stronger, so we just need to be careful with that. And knees as well. Knees start to play up a bit when you started to go on a bit heavier. So it got to the point in high squat where I was changing up tempo, I was just increasing reps, which is good. But we can now switch it up, and we're going on to the true squat, which I have tried it out in the last few days just to see what it's like, and it's pretty brutal. I put one plate on there, I was like, fuck. So I'm excited to get into that. I'm excited that it's a new challenge, something which I'm hoping to progress nicely, and looking forward to it. The aim for the last phase, I didn't really outline that, but the aim for last phase was to build up back, to build up hamstrings, pretty much to build up the posterior chain, and we managed to do that. Definitely hamstrings and glutes we managed to crack, and put some really good size on there, so I was very happy with that. Going into this phase now, we've kind of attacked hamstrings and glutes for a good 12-14 weeks solid. So now the quads are kind of not lagging, but you can see the development that's been put on the hamstrings and glutes, and the quads have kind of taken a little step back because of that. Not that we haven't been training quads, but just because of we've been putting more emphasis on hamstrings and glutes, quads are going to take a little bit of a backseat. So this next phase, Luke's put onto the plan that we're going to focus on more quad-based stuff. So that'll be our leg sessions, and I think taking a bit of work off the hamstrings in posterior sessions. I'm putting some more on quads, so that's the plan going into the next, I don't know, let's just say, where are we now? October. So the next 2 months to Christmas. That's what we're going to be doing. So I think I've outlined everything really. I hope the video wasn't too long. I haven't seen it, but that's kind of it. That's kind of what we've done. This deload now, just recovering, making sure that we're fully fresh, ready to go for the next push, and pushing hard. I'm trying to put on some really good quality tissue. You know, I'm always a big advocate of getting that dense look, you know, because I am 6'1", so I'm tall compared to some of the other bodybuilders, which might be 5'7", 5'8", a good, you know, a decent size. 6'1's, you know, it's tall. So I've got to have that muscle, that density that the smaller guys have. So that's why I like to keep pushing on that heavy load, and putting on some quality muscle, putting on some quality size that is going to stick, and that is going to show when we diet down, when we shred down, that muscle is dense, and that you can tell that some serious training has gone into that. Because I think when you're tall, sometimes you can I think when you're tall and you start to lean down and get shredded, you can start to look a bit stringy if you haven't been paying attention in training and you haven't been pushing that heavy load. So I really try and stick to that and nail those heavy sets, and really try and pack on some good quality tissue, which is what we're doing, which is great. So but no, that's a bit of an overview of the deload week and what's to come in terms of training and nutrition. We're just pushing now till Christmas, and that's that really. It's pretty simple, pretty basic. So I'm going to leave the video there. Thank you for watching. If you have got to the end of this, don't forget to go back and watch the last few videos. Let me know in the comments below as well if you enjoy these videos, or you enjoy the training ones better, or if you want to see anything else, maybe I don't know, a bit more nutrition, whatever. Let me know, because I'm interested to see what. Obviously, I want to give you some good quality content. So, but yeah, thank you for watching. If you have got to the end of this, don't forget to obviously subscribe, like, comment, share. Will be much appreciated. I appreciate everyone who still watches them every week and people who comment and let me know that they're enjoying them, which is great. It's all I wanted to do from this channel, was to be transparent, give you some good information, help one or two people who maybe need some motivation or whatever, some information about training or something. So I'm glad people are enjoying them, and I'll probably see you next week, guys. Thanks again.